There you are. I wasn't sure you were going to answer. What time is it in Berlin? Sorry for calling so late. No, it couldn't wait. Have you checked your email? Check it. Yes, it's a lab report. We found it. The trigger. We found it. A pre-resurrected revenant. We found a sample. Yes, it was one of our shared sequence donations. Yes. It seems the program has served its purpose after all. At least one of them. Yes, I'm sure. We tested it. We duplicated a sample of her DNA and tested that, of course. Yes, the sample resurrected. Yes, I've duplicated the experiment 3 times since, just to be sure. I wouldn't tell you if I wasn't sure. The donor was a woman, no known pre-existing conditions. Her information is included in the report for your reference. No, we haven't tested her ability to resurrect. Although I suppose that's next on the list. I've also begun comparing her genetic sample to the genetic sample of the post-initial resurrection revenant to study what changes as a result of the resurrection process. Yes, one of my girls, Serena. Who knows? As of now, you, me, Callum, and 2 mortal scientists in my program. Because they're the ones that found the sample in the first place, and it's not like they understand what it means. No, I don't think they'll cause trouble. And they can do the laborious work of decoding the sample to figure out each of the genetic functions in the meantime. No, I'm not worried. Why would I be? They're under a strict NDA, and I'm monitoring all moments they spend in my building. Besides, they're mortal. If they start to talk, that is a problem easily solved. Well, it wouldn't be the first time I've had to terminate someone from their service at Eterna. But for now, they can focus on decoding the samples so that we can focus on the larger picture. The Immermention initiative is still going to plan, yes? Good. Well, that sample is going to fast-track our work, now that we know what to look for. Yes. I'm going to have one of my revenants cross-reference that sample with everything we've collected from our shared sequence so far. I would suggest that you do the same. If we can start to get an idea of how many people in our programs have genetic coding that matches that sample, we can extrapolate the data and at least begin to get a rough estimate on how many pre-turned revenants we have walking around in the world. Yes, I wanted to start with your facility first, but once we've confirmed this sample is consistent in other pre-resurrected revenants, then sharing it with the other facilities would be the next step. Well, whether or not we initiate Phase 2 would be up to the board, ultimately, would it not? And even if we have this information, it still doesn't answer all of our questions. Well, for one, how we would go about executing Phase 2. I imagine we would need to establish a set of criteria first on how and when we initiate the resurrection process. And we've not even begun to solve the problem of actually finding all these pre-turned revenants in order to initiate the process in the first place. You know, I've given that some thought, but ultimately I still haven't come up with a good answer. It's not feasible that we test every single person's genetics in order to weed out the revenants. And creating something like a virus that targets this specific genetic coding abdicates our control over who we resurrect and when. I mean, yes, of course we want to resurrect the ones who are past their prime. There's no sense in letting them get any older. But we don't need any more immortal children walking around if at all possible. Discretion has to be used. But in any case, I think before we take this to the board, it would be better to have an ample amount of data so they actually know what we're working with. Yes, I suppose that is the next step. Seeing if the donor will actually resurrect herself. I will. I'll have my assistant call her tomorrow for an appointment, and I will let you know as soon as I have a result. In the meantime, cross-reference that to your gathered samples and let me know if you have any matches, partial or complete. I don't know. I'm not sure if every pre-resurrected revenant has this complete genetic set, or if it's possible to resurrect with only partial mutations. That's something we'll have to research. It does feel like that, doesn't it? Every time we take one step forward, another dozen steps appear between us and our goal. You've been on this journey with me for centuries, and this is the closest we've ever come to our goal. Even if it takes another century, we have the time. No, I don't think it will either. But I do think it depends on the percentage of revenants we find in the population. Even if we initiate phase 2, if the numbers aren't there, it won't be enough. You're right. You're right. I know. There's no sense in worrying about things like that until we know for certain it will be a problem. Yes. Either way, we will be a step closer than we are now. How is it there, in Berlin? You said the initiative was going well. That's good. What about everything else? Really? The board is testing a new program. What program? The Resurgence program. What is that? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Well, it's probably a smart thing to put in place. Transitioning revenants into immortality is quite the task. It's 3 now, actually. Serena found a fresh revenant, as of a month or so ago. They're posing their usual problems. General recklessness, a lack of respect for authority, resentment of their situation causing them to act out. Nothing unexpected, although proving to be rather jeopardizing. I suppose I should tell you this. There's a group forming here in New York. They call themselves Veritas. From what I can gather, there are few mortals who know about the existence of revenants and are seeking to expose us to the general public. They've got pretty extensive research, to be fair. I'm working on getting it expunged from existence, but you know what they say about something on the internet. They've gained some traction, but not much, luckily. I don't think there's many people behind the group as of now. Well, they would just be a nuisance if it weren't for Serena and my lovely new charge constantly insisting on sneaking out of the facility. As it stands, one of the Veritas girls shot Serena a week ago. Yeah, it was great. Fortunately, only a few people saw it. Unfortunately, 2 of those people were detectives. Yes, I imagine you don't envy me. Well, I'm having Kaylee hunt down the girl responsible as best I can, although they've got someone behind their group that's good at covering the tracks. Now, we'll find them, I'm certain of that. And the detectives will be easy to track down and take care of as needed. It's just more problems I don't need to be dealing with. It does sound like I need a glass of wine, doesn't it? In any case, focusing on the positive is the important thing right now. Veritas will be dealt with, or die out in 80 years. This genetic sample is the key to changing things for us, permanently. And perhaps we can actually start to stand a chance against these mortals. Yes, if everything goes well, and if there's enough of a revenant population to have a formidable number, we might actually pose a credible threat. Enough to buy us our safety, at least. The more revenants we have, the less we have to hide. But of course you know that. In any case, I'll let you get some sleep. Let me know when you've run that sample against your data, and I will let you know when I've tested the original donor, all right? It was nice talking to you two. Good night.